just before 2021 ended, I told you about my Patreon page. If you still haven't checked it out, if you still haven't supported me on that Patreon page, please can you make sure you do that? It will be really appreciative. I'll really appreciate. Yo, oh God.
This guy said I'll be really appreciated.
Hey man, what's your business? Man, what's the business? Now let me tell you something because you don't know nothing. Do me a favor, please. Get out of here.
Hey, it's your boy Mr. CV. I'm back. But obviously I'm back with my guy as well. Listen, we made it into 2022. This is a fantastic year. I would really appreciate if you really support me on that Patreon page. Thank you very much to one of my subscribers who's already supported me on that Patreon page. But this year, 2022, I'm aiming for at least 10 people supporting on that Patreon page. Even if we do get to 10, I don't want that to be where we stop. I want that to be just a starting point. So obviously, definitely I'm looking forward to more people supporting me on that community page. And don't forget as well to support me on here and to support me by watching my videos, by tuning to my content and by supporting the channel. Now let's get into the main part of the video. It's 2022. I know so many things are happening, so many changes, so many people are learning new skills, learning new this, learning new that, and getting a lot of jobs. But someone brought something quite interesting to me and said to me, what is a good job? The reason why I asked me that is because a lot of people have high earning or well-paid jobs, and he was trying to say that's not a good job, that's just a well-paid job. And I think people get it incorrect, people get it mixed up. It seems like a very easy question, but trust me, the answer is very difficult to find. And I want to trigger your brain, I want to trigger your mind, and I thought, who else is it best to help me treat this kind of topic? And I brought my guy. You already know him already, my guy L. Let me ask you the question anyway. What is a good job actually?
When we were kids, there was an idea of what a good job is. You know, especially if you're from an African household, Afro-Caribbean background, even an Asian background. Doctor, lawyer, accountant, engineer, dentist, something like that. There was a good job. But fast forward a good 10, 15 years, I know people personally in these professions now. And you've got people walking into these professions, staying there for 3, 4, 5 years, and then walking out and saying, look, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, the money's there, they're able to buy whatever they want, but they don't like the environment, because some of these environments tend to be very competitive, they tend to be very demanding, and it just doesn't work. Even for that white picket fence dream, the kids, spouse, dog, house, it doesn't even work for that dream. You can't work 12 hours a day and, you know, expect a good family life and things like that. So people are just walking out. What do you think a good job is?
For me personally, I think a good job is, let's say you have a dream about something, about a job, and you grow up achieving that dream. I think that's a good job, and I think it has to be regardless of the money. Because like the person said, a lot of people do have high or well-paid jobs. And because of the money, we tend to think that job is not a good job because it doesn't pay enough money.
Right.
Because I've seen people where I want to become a fashionista.
No, fashion designer.
Okay, I want to become a fashion designer.
Yeah.
And then you end up doing something completely different. Even though you're earning a lot of money, is that a good job?
You know what? When you say a good job, I mean, if you say to someone, my friend just moved to New York, he's got a really good job, people are going to assume he's really well paid.
Yeah, that's it.
That's going to be the default. This guy's making a lot of money. But I think it's taken, as I said, it's taken a lot of people to go into something, see that not all that glitters is gold, for them to then say, right, I think my sanity, my mental health, my satisfaction in life is a bit more important than this prestigious name, this, you know, the money I'm being paid. Right now, I think having a good job, especially if you're working in a city, there is a money component that should be part of it. And I don't want to sway completely to the side of, oh, do what makes you happy. For those that are watching overseas, we live in London. This is a very expensive city to live in. You don't just do what makes you happy here. You need to do what pays bills here. Otherwise, you're not even going to have a decent quality of life. Do I want to do a good job? Do I want the clout? Do I want people to be able to say, oh yeah, that guy is, you know, or am I more interested in being satisfied with my life and being happy? I'm sounding a bit liberal and conservative at the same time there.
As you were speaking, something came to my mind that a lot of the time, I think us doing a good job is more about what people are going to say. That, oh, that person has a good job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than to you might even think, it's not like the job is the worst in the world, but for your sanity, for your own self, you might think, nah, this job is not good for me.
Yeah.
But because obviously where we come from as well, being Africans, they'll make it look like if you're the first child, they make it look like you're the one that carries the whole. You carry the cross, or you carry the whole responsibility of your family. That even sometimes, if you want to quit that job, you think, oh wow, if I quit this job, how am I gonna be able to carry on my? You're gonna be judged. Even people will be telling you, are you mad? Or
to quit this
good job, like, you know what I mean? Are you how can you even think about quitting this kind of job, like you know what I mean? Like even you yourself, you start having doubts within yourself. For me, I've always seen that every job is a good job, to be fair, to me personally. It just depends on obviously your mindset. There's certain jobs where you need to do for the time being to give you that experience to level up to other jobs.
I've got some interesting facts and figures.
This guy's the statistician.
Let's get it. So, in the UK, the highest earning group of people are men aged 40 to 49. These are the highest earning group of people in the country. And guess their average salary. Guess the average of the highest earning people in the country, men 40 to 49. What do they make on average?
60K.
60. Is that your answer? You think on average that men aged 40 to 49?
About 50 to 60K.
50 to 60K?
Yeah.
Incorrect. The average 40 to 49-year-old man in the UK makes £38,000 a year. If you're a young person in school, college, university, you're thinking that, well, I'm going to get a good job. Just remember that the average for the highest earning group isn't even 39K. So, and I'll tell you something else as well. In terms of earnings in the UK, 1% of people make 175,000 a year or more. 5% of people make 74,000 a year or more, and 10% of people make 54,000 a year or more. 10%, that's men and women. So because such a small amount of people actually make these kind of salaries, you have to ask yourself, what is good anyway? I would say, look, one thing that I've been enlightened by this guy is many people are going to be in a sticky situation of, should I follow my passion or should I just focus on working? You've got the emotional versus the rational. And I was stuck in that for a very long time, and I'm thinking to myself, well, pursue both. But the thing is, when you pursue both, neither is going to be a really huge success if we're being extremely honest with ourselves. Because if I pour all of my resources and my passion and my energy into being the best employee and growing professionally in my career and things like that, yes, I can be an amazing worker, but I'm going to be almost a mediocre whatever it is I'm working on in my spare time, my passion. You do kind of have to pick. Me understanding and liking what I do, I'd say that's more important than just having a good job. I'm decently paid anyway for my age.
What's your point exactly?
When people say good job, like you just said, I asked you, what do you think the highest earning group in the country make on average? And you gave me an answer about 15 to 20,000 more. Yeah, because when we were kids, we thought all of us are gonna make 70K or more. When we got a bit older, we think, okay, loads of us are gonna make 100K or more. But really and truly, most people are not going to do that. And remember, we said when we're talking about this person has a good job, we're talking about their salary first. And if most salaries are not going to go beyond 40k in the country, I mean, remember 10%, 54k or more, 10%, that means 90% of people are beneath that.
Maybe we need to start changing how we look at a good job.
I think it's changing because millennials are a bit more concerned about how, not just the amount of money they're making, but how they feel about what they're doing. We're recognizing that, look, we need money and it isn't that easy to survive, but we also care what day-to-day life actually looks like. We're much more likely to leave a job based on dissatisfaction.
There's a high level of dissatisfaction in work.
Would you say so?
Yeah, of course.
Would you say that we're just, millennials are just crybabies?
No, I don't know about...
Because our parents and young did harder jobs.
I think right now there's more options in terms of jobs than there were before.
Okay.
In the sense that you don't have to rely on one job. You can be like myself where I've got multiple jobs that are able to give me source of income. Like myself, I've not worked full time for the last 3 to 4 years now. And I've been able to...
And he makes good.
I
won't say it, but he's doing well.
Don't open my bomb with camera.
Because
when it comes to working, I feel it's about maximizing as much of your time as possible. When you do a lot of, let's say, professional work or full-time work, there's a lot of hours. Let's say, for example, in a work, you'll be contracted for 40 hours,
right.
But sometimes you're working 60 hours. Those extra 20 hours, they're just unwritten parts of your work that you need to do. In my mind, I'm thinking, wait, hold on. Instead of signing a contract, I can go to work where that 40 hours that I work is what I work. That extra 20 hours, instead of me doing unwritten part of work that I'm supposed to do if I was contracted, I can use that 20 hours and do other work. So I'm utilizing that 20 hours to increase my cash flow. I feel within this generation, there are more opportunities for work. So people have the freedom of, if I'm dissatisfied about work, I know that I can wake up tomorrow, I can leave, and I know there's apps available that can get other work with no technology that was before. Obviously, people can't just wake up one day because you have to fill out forms, you have to know people, you have to get contacted from here. So the waiting time, the process, people are more scared about, oh, if I leave work now, the responsibilities that I've got behind me, would I be able to cope?
I think what you said is key when you said about the availability of different types of work now. I think the time where having a quote unquote good job, which I would say maybe about 20, 30 years ago now, that was important then. But nowadays, you don't have to go into any type of conventional, mode of work where you have a single source of income. Different people are doing different things, growing it. People are reselling, people are, doing online marketing, things like that. And they don't have to go into any offices, they can work from their laptop. And they're making a lot more money than people that are just doing a 9-to-5 grind. It's definitely difficult to define a good job or even if anyone cares if you have a good job anymore. Does anyone care if you have a good job anymore?
No, because we both live in London. I think as long as you can pay your bills, like you said already, how you pay your bills doesn't even concern the landlord. As long as you don't miss your rent, but once you miss your rent, just be expecting bailiffs.
You have to look at social class also. Historically, middle and upper classes were always the most likely to go into the upper finance, front office, revenue generation, in business, accounting. They were always most likely to do that. So the expansion of options in terms of education, universities being open to minorities and things like that, that broadened the scope for the lower classes. But what the new technology landscape has done is open up the income barriers for the lower classes as well. Education was the first step on behalf of the government, but global business has opened up, okay, income is now yours for the taking as well. So why should anyone care about what a good job is now?
And even what we classify as a good job these days, yeah, it's a good job in terms of society, this is what society expects, that this is a good job. But in terms of the earnings, you can earn almost the same amount or even more, depending on how far you push it. We need to move away from that mindset that a good job is just a job where, because you're getting paid a lot of money, that is a good job. I think there's so many more to it.
I've met a guy that, you know, when my car broke down at the side of the road, he came to pick me up. He works for the AA, Roadside Recovery. This guy's on 50K. He's a year younger than me. He's on 50K. So, you know, good job or not, you're gonna have at least trainee level, you know, bulge bracket analysts. You're gonna have doctors training. They're probably not even on 40K.
And they even do a harder job.
Yeah, they get paid that maybe over time.
Even, to be honest with you, in order to get paid that over time, you're looking at about 10 years in the profession. And in that 10 years as well, you're fighting a lot of politics at work as well.
I myself, I'm actually I'm an IT infrastructure support engineer. I've been doing this for about 9 years now. The landscape is changing, particularly where technology is concerned. So I can't see every job that I see today being in existence 15 to 20 years from now. I just won't be there. I can't see my job being in high demand. I have to upskill. We always, in the IT industry, if you're around computing on the engineering side, you have to upskill. Because a lot of the work you're doing today will be made obsolete in 10 years. A lot of the skills I have in terms of desktop troubleshooting, hardware, configuration, things like that, is gone out the window because you've got new lightweight cloud systems, for example. In 15 years' time, if you don't have some kind of building skill where you can build solutions and you can design and develop technology, or you're on the security side of things, you're probably not going to be of much use. It really is changing. So I really see a future where hard work and dedication to what you're doing is always going to be important, but what you're doing, I don't know if it's always going to be so traditional as, are you a doctor or are you a lawyer? I don't know.
We're about to wrap up, and I think when it comes to what is a good job, it really depends on the individual and what they define as a good job. I want to say as well in the video, if you are doing a job that you're well paid at it and you classify that as a good job, I don't think there's any problem with that actually. We just want to explore this part of it and then look at what is a good job, because I think it's very easy to classify every job that's well paid as a good job, because there's a lot of things that go within it that we might not get access to unless we're in that profession. I feel like jobs that you feel you're making a difference, that is a good job to you, and jobs that you feel you get pleasure out of it. If you're in a job and you think, okay, well, you're getting paid well, but you're going through a lot of traumas in terms of mental, physical, then I think no matter how much they're paying you, I think you should definitely reconsider that job. Any final comments on that?
Based on what you just said there, the idea that you can move job because you're frustrated, that in itself is a 21st century luxury. You know, many of our forefathers, they couldn't do that. They hate it. It's dangerous. They could die. They have to stay put. They've got family to look after. I'd say take the opportunity to explore things that maybe traditionally wouldn't have been looked at. The technology's here. It won't be here forever. Wherever the barriers to entry drop, things get expensive and then they get cheap. So take advantage of it as fast as you can.
So I'm going to leave it right there. Listen, it's your boy Mr. CV. I'm back for the new year. And listen, more content is coming your way. So stay tuned and obviously keep following your boy Mr. CV. From me to L, I hope you had an amazing new year. And definitely stay tuned for more videos.